Jim says straight up. Jose says, hey, Chrissy Chris, I'm ready. Wash hands. Santa, carpet cleaning. So does that mean you only clean the carpets once a year? Hello, handsome. Flattery will get you everywhere. Nguyen says, hello, boss. How are you? Or hello, how are you, boss? SGV Marketing says, hello, everyone. What's up, SGV? I think I know who that is. Shane, maybe? Chris says, happy birthday in the next few days. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My 13th birthday is on Friday. Jason. All right. Well, it was close. It wasn't close at all, but I tried. We will get started in a minute or two. Thanks, everyone, for turning out. Yeah, whatever. Put this on mute so as to be professional-ish. If anybody has anything they want to talk about in the next minute or two before we get into the presentation, let me know. I think today is going to be a little shorter than usual. Not for any particular reason. I just don't know that what we have to cover is going to take quite as long, but I could be less right than I usually am. Tim says hello from SC. Also in SC myself. Hello, Tim. Laru, the winner of today's pizza, says hi, Chris. Congrats on finding the pizza. Let's see. People still piling on. Want to make sure I didn't miss anybody else because that would suck. Never want to leave anybody out. We'll get started at about 5 after. I forgot to get some water, so that's going to suck by the end of this. But you want to know how you can tell if somebody's going to be a success or not is see how they adapt when things don't go perfectly. And forgetting water is definitely things not going perfectly. Inamal says, hello, sir. How are you? Doing well. That's interesting. My two favorite YouTube thumbnail guys back to back. Jim says, champions made adjustments, not excuses. That sounds like a tweet. But yeah, you're right. I see that a lot of people just can't adapt when everything isn't absolutely perfect. Or they like base their business around absolutely ideal situations. I'm going to tell a quick story and then we're going to get into it. I have a friend of mine who also used to be my boss, Michael. He apparently used to work in a car dealership as a salesman. And it was one day that he sold 2 cars in like the first hour he was there. And he made, I don't remember the numbers, but like $2,000, let's say, in an hour. So his boss calls everyone into the office and is like, he's made $2,000 in the first hour. He's going to be here 12 hours. That's $24,000 in a day. That's, however many in a week, in a month, in a year. Who doesn't want to make that kind of money? And the boss's name was Bob. And he and I joke about that. We call it Bob math. And it's because some people base their math on the absolute unsustainable top scenario. And then they make projections like, and I'm throwing shade at somebody here as what else that's on right now as well, that make projections that have absolutely no basis in reality. So if you ever hear me say Bob math, that's what I'm talking about. Radala Islamic Center says, hello, boss. What's up? Mohammed says, hi, Chris. Hello, Mohammed. All right. I think it's time to get this party started. So let me share my screen. Well, that's cool. You can share a video file. I'll have to look into that. And slideshow from beginning. All right. Everybody see that okay? So let me know if you can see the screen there. I probably should have put in a slide for this, but okay. So I should have put in a recap slide. I didn't think about it because I'm criminally underprepared for things like this, even though I know they're coming. But last week we covered the kind of the foundations that you need, you know, the choosing a niche, how to prospect, choosing a outreach method, all that stuff. Hopefully you did your homework and are ready for that. I'm assuming most of you are already at that level or at least knew it, but we talked about getting set up legally and all those kinds of things. So this week, what we're going to cover in part 2 of the So Chris Doesn't Have to Think of a New Topic Every Week series is you got the foundations of your agency. Now what? Last week, we talked about the bare minimum you would need, your basic structure and why you should start an agency. And then we went into some of the details, but not really. Today, what we're going to do is finish preparing to start our agency so we can actually start our agency. So there's a fine balance that entrepreneurs have to find between planning and executing. You can underplan and over execute, and overplan and under execute. And there's bad parts to both of those. So you have to find the right balance. You should definitely lean more toward executing and less toward planning, but you need to plan some, and we're going to plan just a little bit more today. And then next week, we're going to start trying to get some business. So standard warning, this is literally the same slide as last week. The most important one here is there will be no pizza provided today. Sorry about that. So step number 1, we need to actually start building our agency and start getting some clients, is we're going to figure out what we're going to sell. For most of us, we would just say SEO, right? But even that can be a lot of different things. It can be one-off offers. It can be, you know, organic. It can be local. It can be video. It can be lead gen, whatever. So you got to figure out what you want to sell. This is going to really depend upon you, and it's not something I can tell you what the best model is, but some things you have to consider are your situation, what you like doing, what you're skilled at, and the kind of income that you want. Some examples are, and these are not even close to the menu you can offer, are organic SEO, which is, you know, non-Google Maps SEO, then local SEO, which is Google Maps SEO. People use those terms differently, but that's kind of what I mean by them here. Web design and development, that's a natural segue into it. It's a good way to start with, you know, a $2,000 to $5,000 sale that you can then upsell into recurring SEO. PPC/ads management, if you're good at that and you prefer, you know, working in ads manager and things like that, then that's a great one. Social media marketing and management, I think that goes without saying. It just depends, like I said, on you, what you like doing and what you're good at, and the amount of money that you want to make and how you want to structure your billing. So really, you want to go for things, in my opinion, that have monthly recurring revenue. So you would use web design/dev as a one-time thing, and then maybe you can sell them maintenance and blog posts or whatever, or you can use that as a segue into organic and or local SEO. Both of these can come with monthly recurring as well, because, you know, you can't just set it and forget it. So that's that. Some things to consider are how much of the fulfillment you want to do yourself versus outsourcing. Again, that's a personal decision, and I can't really tell you what's right for you, your business, and your life. But, you know, the upside to fulfillment is there's less cost, less dollar outlay of doing it yourself, that is. And the downside is that you spend more time doing that and less time growing your business. This is a trap that a lot of beginner agency owners fall into, is they spend way too much time on fulfillment and not near enough time on sales, marketing, lead gen for themselves. So you got to find that balance for yourself based on your revenue. And we're going to look at some numbers here soon. Then you got to figure out what you really want to do. For example, I do not like design or anything creative, because if a customer comes back and is like, I want to see this in blue or something, I have no patience for shit like that. So web design and development is not really for me. I prefer to do social media and SEO. Those are kind of my two favorite things, but it just depends on you. You don't want to get stuck in a business that you don't like doing, because you're just going to hate it in yourself and it's not going to be sustainable. How simple you want to keep it. You can offer a whole array of services. You can offer a full stack digital marketing package with automations and the whole works, or you can just offer one thing and that's what you offer. It's up to you. I suggest in the beginning you start with one or two, and then as you expand and grow and add to your team, then you can add more. But it's up to you. Your niche. Not every niche needs every service. So, if you're, I don't know, if you're like a plumber, there's not really, and this may not be a great example, but if you're like a plumber, probably not as much need for social media as there would be for, say, a clothing store. So you got to consider some niches just don't need certain things. And we're going to have an example here in a second of a calculator I put together for you, but your income. So you got to figure out what kind of income you need to sustain the lifestyle that you want to have, the kind of profit that you're comfortable with, and so on. So let me drop this down if I can figure out how, and show you an example. Where is it? All right. So, and I'm going to give you a link to this. Let me zoom in. I guess you can't zoom in here. There we go. All right. So this is very basic, but I think it'll help you decide how much to charge and what services you want to offer. You can take your how many your personal expenses are, meaning every dollar you need to spend in order to maintain your lifestyle the way you want it. Your rent, your food, your electric, your internet, whatever. Then your business expenses, which is every penny that you're going to lay out for your business, including tools and licenses and tax and outsourcing and anything you spend from your business. These are business expenses. So then you got to figure out the revenue and the amount of profit that you need in order to break even. So for example, and these are just random numbers, but suppose your personal expenses are $3,000 and your business expenses are $2,500 and your revenue is $6,000 a month, then you've made $500 profit. This number is kind of what you got to decide how comfortable you are. And that may even need to go into the negative in the beginning. The way you figure that out, and I don't know how this cell got like that, but all right, we'll fix that later. The way you figure that out is the average client revenue, and this is per month, and the number of clients you need to hit the revenue that's over here. So if you're charging $1,000 a month, you need 6 clients to make $6,000 in revenue and $500 in profit. If this were 500, you need 12 clients to make the same profit. So, and if you drop that down to, I don't know, I should have made this, I'll tweak this a little bit, but suppose that you bring this down to like, let's see, 400. Updating my, oh, I see. Sorry about that. Like I said, I don't prepare properly. Suppose that your revenue drops to 5,000. You bring this up to 1,000. Calculator is not working right. Damn it. I think you get the idea. You need to figure out how much you're comfortable making and how many clients it's going to take you to make it. So revenue, that's what I was looking for. $5,000 in revenue, 5 $1,000 clients, you would lose $500 a month. So if that's the case and you aren't comfortable losing money, you need to either add another client or add another $1,000 to your price. So increase your price. You need to calculate this, and I'll tweak this a little bit and give you the link to it later. I mean, I already gave you the link to it. I'll tweak it and make it to where you can adjust all the numbers to have them adjust. You did 500, not 5,000. It's okay. But this is kind of what you want. So you need to figure out your personal expenses, your revenue, or your personal expenses, your business expenses, minus the revenue that you want, that you're going to make, and how much profit or loss you're comfortable with. So that's just a way to figure that out yourself. So there we go. And like I said, I'll tweak this, make it a little more sophisticated. I only spent about 5 minutes on this, but this is a good way to go about figuring out what to offer and how much you need to charge. So I just do it in my head. I've never laid it out in the spreadsheet before. So where were we? All right. So those are the kind of things that you need to do when figuring out what you want to sell. I think to me, the most important ones are doing something you don't like. Don't do something you don't like. So figure out what you want to offer, and then figuring out if it makes sense for your niche, and then if you can make the income you need to make with it. Those are kind of the important points there. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. And we're just going to keep right on keeping on. So defining your offer. Now that you know what you're going to sell, you still need to package that into an offer that you can present to a potential client, prospect, business owner, so on. MD, we're not talking about that today. This isn't a live stream about how to get orders on Legiit. I suggest you go check the live stream I did on Sunday. I'm not going to let that hijack everything I do in public every time I speak. So go check that out, and then check out the link that I've posted in the group about 30,000 times. I'm not trying to be harsh. It's just not what we're on topic today. So let's kind of try to focus on that for now. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. So once you figured out what you're going to sell and how you're going to sell, you need to figure out a way that you can offer it to people in a way that is going to respond to them, but also protect you as time goes on. So suppose that you have decided that organic SEO is what you want to offer, and it's going to be how you pay your bills. An example package that you can put together after you've spoken to a client, and we're going to go into the sales process leading up to this in future trainings, but the offer itself is going to be organic SEO. So Bill, organic SEO means that I'm going to take your site from the bad neighborhood it's in now, page X, and move it to a great neighborhood with lots of traffic, page number 1. This will expose your business to many more ideal customers, or foot traffic, if you will. You can see some improvement right away, but it could take 3 to 6 months for us to achieve our goals. You're going to get a monthly report from me with our current and previous rankings, as well as any thoughts I have. And then you can book a one-hour call with me every 30 days to discuss anything you'd like to discuss. Payment each month is due at the beginning of that month, and we begin work upon receipt. So you see how that's more than I will just increase your Google ranking. This is a very specific offer that you're making to someone. This isn't exactly how you would word it. This is just what it is for you internally. You would word it a little more savvy than this if you were actually speaking to a client, but you need to figure out exactly what it is you offer. So you can't just say, I offer Facebook ads. You need to find a way to offer Facebook ads, the KPIs that you're going to offer to clients, and what they can expect from you and what's in it for them. So that's kind of what I mean by defining your offer. I want one of the pieces of homework is going to be to take whatever it is you sell now, or whatever it is you plan to sell, and put together a statement like this, so you know exactly what it is you're offering, so you can go into those client and prospect meetings with some confidence and be able to know exactly what it is that you're offering that will make their life better. So creating your customer avatar. The point of this is to have, as you're building out your sales funnel, your sales process, and what you're going to offer, is to create someone in your mind that's the ideal person that you're going to be talking to. This will allow you to craft your sales message and talk to people in a way that will work a lot more effectively than if you just do a templated message to every person you speak to. So in this example, I've created a fictional person named Mike Thompson, who owns a roofing company named Mike's Top Roofs, which is a terrible name. But anyway, he's 36-year-old married man, and I should have put gender on there as well. A 36-year-old married man with 2 children who pays himself $75,000 a year out of his $400,000 a year revenue business, and he's been in business for 4 years. Mike wants to hire some more people because he wants to replace himself, but the obstacle to him doing that is $120K in revenue to hire another 2 people and start to replace himself from the day to day. And I typed form instead of from. If Jessica's watching, she laughed just then. But that's that. So you see how instead of just roofers, you have a very specific person in mind that you're talking to. When you talk to a person in the real world, you're not just talking to an automaton or a lemming. You're talking to a real individual with needs. Now, are you going to find someone that fits this mold exactly? No, of course not. Well, unlikely. But this will give you an idea of who you're talking to when you open up those conversations, because next week, as much as it scares some of you, we're going to have to start talking to some people and working on some deals. So if you have someone mentally defined in your head, it'll make your sales process that much smoother. Creating a customer avatar is something that almost nobody does. And at least in my experience, and everyone should do. So that's going to be another piece of homework, is to define your customer avatar and see who it is exactly that you're going to be selling your offer to. That's going to be something that we do for next week. So that you should have ready for next week, I should say. So figuring out your sales process. First of all, feel free to laugh at my less than elite flow charting skills. But you need to know, once you talk to someone, and well, not even that, let's back up a little bit. Once you decide it's time to start reaching out to people to try to build a client base, to get some customers, to get some clients, to start doing the actual work of having an agency, you're going to have a process, or otherwise you're going to be completely lost and you're just going to be making stuff up on the fly, and you're going to look amateurish, because that's exactly what you will be if you don't have processes in place. So Facebook user says, howdy boss. Hello, Facebook user. If you want your name to show up, just go to streamyard.com/Facebook. So this is just one example, and it can be, you can customize this to fit whatever you plan to do, but this is a good example. At the top, we have our outreach method. So whether it's cold call, whether it's cold email, whether it's in-person networking, looks like we'll never be able to do that again, but whatever it is, then that's how you reach out. You get in touch with someone and they agree to a meeting. So you schedule that via Calendly, and it doesn't have to be Calendly. It can be Google Calendar, whatever. You set up that time to have a meeting with them on Zoom or on the phone or in person, however you want to go about it. It's funny that comes up, because we had this big discussion about whether you should meet clients in person or not recently. Then you get to, and Mrs. Gaskin, my computer programming 101 teacher, would love that I use the diamond shape here, but the prospect agrees. So if they say yes, you give them, on the Zoom call, you give them a link through QuickBooks or Stripe or whatever payment method you set up last week. And then you send them an intake form, and I can get you one of those, an example of one of those as well, to get what you need, access to Search Console, analytics, the website, whatever. But that's what you do if they say no. If they say they need to talk about it or need more time or whatever, you can address that in your sales process. But let's just say that that's the outcome of the meeting. Then you set up a time with them that you will follow up with them. Bob, should I call you on Wednesday at 3 or Friday at 2? Whatever it is, make sure that you have a specific time, and don't make it open-ended. Give them options like that, so you have a time to follow up. And if they give you a hard no that you're not able to get around, say that's okay. Give them some free resources, maybe a guide or a case study or some training that they can use, just as a gesture of goodwill. And then in 6 months, you follow up with them with the 1-sentence email. Mike, how's stuff going with your website? That can be your whole email. So my point of this is not the way you necessarily have to do it. This is fairly similar to what I used to do, but you've got to have a process, so you have a plan and you can go in there in a way that's going to work. So hopefully I don't have to explain why knowing what your process is going to be is important, but this is one example. And again, this will be saved for you, and you'll be able to upload download the entire presentation later today. So any questions on any of this so far? Normally I would take a drink right now while I wait for you to ask questions, but well, I forgot. All right, no? Okay. Apparently that's Mir. What's up, Mir? Good to see you, buddy. All right, so moving on, and we're almost done, believe it or not. Prospecting list. So we're going to go in depth on how to do prospecting in a future training, because I thought I could squeeze it in this one, but I think it would be a little bit too much. I think it needs to be its own thing. So, but I have put together example prospecting list. Now that you have everything in place for your business, you know who your niche is, you know who your client is, you know how you're going to do your outreach, you know what your sales process is to bring them in when they say yes, you know all that stuff. Now it's time to get together a list of people that you want to talk to. And again, this is going to be its own training in itself, but I wanted to give you an example of what a list looks like. So let me see if I can figure out how to minimize this. All right. There we go. So it's really straightforward, right? You got your business name. Let me zoom in for you. Business name, contact name, owner/decision maker. You see how these are separate things? This might be the person that answers the phone or the marketing manager or whatever. This is the person that you first are going to talk to. Some people call it a gatekeeper. I find that to be a bit disrespectful, but whatever. Then there's the owner/decision maker, the URL of the website. If this is a real site, please forgive me, whoever Mike's Top Roofs is. I don't know. I just made that up out of the ether. And then the email, if you can find it, and then some notes. Usually what I put in the notes is the way I found them and what they need, so I can work on crafting that into a sales message that addresses the issues I find when I'm talking to them. So it's a really straightforward thing. You can make another tab with your ideal customer avatar on it if you want to, if you need to have that in writing there for you, but you want to collect this on, whoever you plan to reach out to. So have this ready before you start. Have a list of 20 to 100 of these or more that you can start reaching out to. That way you're not screwing around when you sign on to do your prospecting on Monday morning, the morning you start. So next week, we're going to actually go and do prospecting, and we're going to talk about this in depth. But I wanted to at least give you a taste of what that's going to be. And I'm going to link you to this prospecting sheet as well. Although literally anybody can make this in 5 seconds. So that's kind of that. Let's jump back over to the presentation. And believe it or not, we're only a half hour in, but we're almost done with what we're going to cover this week. I know that this was a bit intellectual and you're probably ready to start doing things. And next week we are going to start doing things on the next session, but it's important to understand these, and I'll go back over everything here in just a minute. Sam says, a little late, but everyone liked the stream. Sam always got my back. Appreciate that. So for next week, your homework is to figure out what service you're going to sell, whether it's organic SEO, whether it's local SEO, social media, ads, web design, whatever you want to sell, figure that out and get that in your head. Then use the revenue calculator, which I will fix here in just a few minutes and you'll have the link to. And then define your offer statement like we talked about, create a customer avatar, lay out your sales process, and create a prospecting template, or you can just use mine if you want. Now that seems like a lot, but I did all of these today in just a matter of, I don't know, half an hour or something. So I want everyone to have, if you don't do this in your business already, I want everyone to have this ready for next time. So then we can start working on prospecting together. Or when you go back and watch this, you will know exactly what to start prospecting. So if there's not any questions, what I'm going to do is cruise back and cover this one more time real quick. Whoops. So you got to figure out what you want to sell: organic SEO, local SEO, web design /dev, PPC, social media. You can do reputation management. You can do video. You can do whatever it is you want to do. Figure that out. You want to base that on how much of the work yourself you want to do versus how much you want to outsource, what you really want to do. So if you don't like something, don't offer it. How simple you want to keep it, broad versus deep, meaning do you want to just offer one thing? Do you want to offer everything? Do you want to offer specific things? Figure that out in yourself, your niche. Not every niche needs every service because, like I said, plumbers aren't going to be posting. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know, but they're not going to be posting pretty pictures on Instagram. And then customize that to the income level and use the calculator that I will provide for you. Define your offer statement. So instead of just, I offer organic SEO, you want to, this is again, not something you would share with the public. This is what you know it to be in your head. And I wrote it in the wrong voice, but basically it would be you knowing exactly what you're going to offer, how long, what the KPIs for the customer are, when they can expect results, how often and through what method they are going to be able to contact you, when they can expect to pay you, and when they can expect you to work, and so on. Have that ready and in your head and write this out. You want to create a customer avatar. What information you collect is up to you and will likely vary upon each situation, but these are kind of at least some basic ones. And these two are really important. Don't skip over the pain points or the obstacles, and you'll want to adapt these as you learn the niche better. But yeah, so there's that. Facebook user says, hey, Chris, hey, if that's you, whoever that is, if you want, go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, and then we'll be able to show your name. So that's kind of the customer avatar. Figure out a sales process. I think it helps to diagram it out like this, but you don't have to. But this is from your outreach source to what you will do when someone shows interest, to how you will actually meet, to what to do if they agree, need more time, or say no. You'll send them an intake form. You'll follow up at a designated time. And again, don't give them an open-ended, when can we do it? Give them specific times on which you will meet them, or follow up in 6 months with the one sentence email. Prospecting list. This is basically, you just you put in a spreadsheet what information you're going to collect about each prospect, and you get ready to start prospecting. I'll give you the example of that too, but it's really straightforward. It's just like name, contact name, business name, and so on. So, and homework is to do all the things that we just talked about by next week. Again, you can do this really quickly yourself. It's not as scary as it might look. Last week, people freaked out when I told them they had to prospect for 18 hours a day or whatever the number was, but you know. And if you want to go into more depth, this is my shameless plug. Check out Superstar SEO Academy. I'm sorry, Alan threw off my game, and you'll see why here in a second. Check out a week's free trial of Superstar SEO Academy, superstarseo.expert. That'll be free for 7 days, and then it'll rebill at $67 a month. We've had literally hundreds of success stories over the 4 years we've been in business, and it's really, really something that I'm proud of, and that has been able to help a lot of people. And I think the price is very, very reasonable. And even if the price isn't reasonable, you get to see it for free. So, and then if you want to get into another free group that is aimed at this sort of training, although to be honest, I have been letting it be dormant a little bit, and I shouldn't, but I'm working on it. superstarseo.com/sales. That's totally free, and it's all about sales and business and scaling and systems and so on. So that was some good alliteration there. And do you have any questions? Helen says, apparently plumbers are posting on the gram, and he posts instagram.com/plumberscrack. I wonder if that's something I should bring up. Oh, Lord. Oh, okay. That's not nearly as bad as I was expecting. In fact, it's really, if anything, oh, yeah, plumber's crack. Yeah, that's definitely not what I was expecting. That's just some dude. I thought it was going to be something else. Whew. All right. Sam says 18 hours. We freaked out at 11. Jim asks, are there any good tools for prospecting? Very soon, we're going to have one for you. And this is another bit of a spoiler. But we're going to have Legiit leads, which will help you with prospecting very soon. Other tools, there's Grow Me Organic. There is Google itself, Facebook itself, yellowpages.com. Those are a few, but Legiit leads will mostly have you covered. That should be out by the end of August, hopefully, if not sooner. SGV Marketing says, what is a good niche for us to start prospecting? There's no real answer to this, but the things that it depends on, again, it depends on what you're going to be selling as well. But some good examples would be anything where they can see a big ROI from a small investment. So if you get like a roofer is one of the standard SEO examples, they may not be ideal because they get hammered so much with SEOs, but anything where they make for one sale is worth a lot to them. So heavy machinery, I used to have a heavy machinery client where they sold like, they rented like, I'm so bad at this, like forklifts and stuff like that. You know, one sale for them is worth thousands of dollars. So to pay, you know, $1,000 a month, they could pay off their investment in me for years with one sale. So that sort of thing. Dentist is okay. They're another one that gets absolutely okay. Let me go cover the upside and the downside on that. The upside to dentists is that they understand that they have to market their services, and they understand that they need a marketing budget. So they're more of a business than a traditional physician. The downside is that SEOs know that too, and they get just pummeled with that people offering them SEO. So your copy and your sales are going to have to be really, really on point if you want to close a dentist. But yeah, if you can get good at selling dentist, then absolutely. You want to check out my friend Scott Allen. If you search my channel, my YouTube channel, I did an interview with him about dental SEO maybe 2 years ago. And he specializes in that, and he's really fantastic at that. So he can give you the ins and outs if that's the one you want to go with. And I forgot to do it last week, and I don't want to say I probably forget, but I'll try to put together another list of good niches. But really the thing you want to look for is low competition and high ROI. Hector says, Chris, can you give any examples of free resources you might offer a prospect? Sure. You can put together, like I have an ebook that's SEO for business owners. And that's just like a really long blog post that I had converted into a PDF. You can put together like a 4 or 5 video training series. You can give, what else? You can give, you can do a press release if you have a little bit of budget. You can do a free video ranking, although that doesn't work as well as it used to. Just a case study works really well because case studies really resonate with people. So put together a high quality case study. Those are just some off the top of my head. And yes, Scott is also a coach in Superstar SEO Academy, which you can get a week of for free at superstarseo.expert. I've now dropped in the chat, comments, whatever. Knowledge Seeker says data centers marketing. That I'm not familiar with it, but off the top of my head, that sounds like it would be a good one. I imagine the data centers are very expensive to set up. So I don't know who the ideal client there is, because again, I don't know the niche, but my initial reflex to that is it would be good. Do you think I could try this with blog management once I'm ready for it? So like keyword research, content publishing, etc. Maybe target online businesses more. As a matter of fact, we are going to have a tool for you that you can literally find people that need blog management. So yes, I do think that's a good service to offer, especially with your talent for it. Although, you would have to probably branch out to more than just one niche. Chris says you had unclaimed Google business on your spreadsheet. Is this just to notify them so they can claim their own business? What I would do is find some that are unclaimed, try to get them on the phone and say, you can create a video, a tutorial or something like that and show them how to do it and just send it to them for free. Or say, if you don't want to be bothered with this, I can do it for you for some nominal fee, $20, $100, whatever it is, just to make them a client and walk them through it, and they'll see it and they'll appreciate that. It's just a really great way to go about getting people, because that's something that most businesses understand is important. And if they don't have it, it's a slam dunk to set up. So there's really no effort to it. So you either come off as a good guy or you kind of get them in the door, Knowledge Seeker says, do you have any suggestions for high ROI and low competition? Like I said, I'll get together a list, but stuff like plastic surgeons, like Sam said. I used to work with photographers. They have a pretty high ROI because like one wedding costs, $3 or $4 grand, which is freaking ludicrous. But anyway, and they tend to understand it. Another one is like high-end furniture is a good one. Dentists, roofers, plumbers are pretty common. Basically stuff that costs a lot of money. I had a cool sculpting client once. So there's that. It's kind of a procedure where they make you look younger, basically. And stuff like that. Just look around and find businesses that charge, I don't know, at least a minimum of $3,000 or $4,000. So you can use that as part of your sales pitch. So, hey, Jake, you sell one wedding package for $4,000. If you pay me $500 to $1,000 a month, you've paid yourself off, and I get you one client, you've paid yourself off you've paid me off for an entire quarter, something like that. Sam says, there you go, plastic surgery. Sam says, okay, thanks, Chris. Seeker says, haha. And Sam says, hair transplant. Stuff like that stuff like that maybe cost loads. Yeah, exactly. And that's like, those are also businesses that understand that they have to market themselves too. Photographers, thanks a lot. Yeah, that was my favorite niche when I was getting started. The downside to photographers is they tend to be a little more hands-on than I am comfortable with now, meaning that they can help. So I'll just leave it at that. So there's that. Jasvinder says, hey, what's up, Jasvinder? Guys, if you want to get more in-depth sales, SEO training, we have a complete SEO A to Z system in Superstar SEO Academy. Everything from affiliate to lead gen to client, both fulfillment and getting, just weekly webinars, a coaching community, e-commerce SEO. It's just there's so much that I always forget to list things. So I'm very, very proud of it. And we helped a lot of folks. So you can check that out. And if you have any more questions about this or anything related to this, you can ask away. I'll be here for a while still. The only thing I'm not going to answer today is how to get more orders on Legiit. So, or we can wrap this thing up too. We got done. Like I said, this was a little bit shorter. Let's go back and make sure that we know what to expect for next week. Next week, we're going to start actually building our business and start getting some prospects together and, start maybe even get into some outreach. But in order to do that, you have to do everything we did from week 1, which you can find on my channel, and then everything from this week as well. So you're going to need to have a service that you're going to sell, service or services. You want to use that revenue calculator to figure out how many clients you need to make money, the money you want. You're going to define your offer statement, create a customer avatar, know what your sales process is going to be, and at least have a template. So when we start prospecting, you can start plugging people right in it alongside me. So that's where we're at. And this part 1, is it on demand? Let me grab the link for it. It says never mind. That's okay. I'll get the link for it because it gives me a chance to plug things. You can find it on the Superstar SEO blog along with all the resources. Shoo. Boom. There, everything that we talked about, and then you can check out some other past live streams and other great blog content. I think my blog is very underrated because I don't really promote it like I should, but there you go. And I'll drop that in the chat now as well. I know today's topic was not as sexy as some others, but I just got your message on Legiit, Jason, on the Legiit app, I might add. Appreciate you watching. Oh, thanks. No problem, my friend. All right, I'm going to go ahead. Hey-o. I'm going to go ahead and jump back on camera. All right, guys, like I said, I'll fix up the revenue calculator for you, and I'll have everything updated on a blog post like that one I just shared. So you'll be able to go back and watch this and get all the information that you need. And then next week, we're going to start talking, and these are, by the way, every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So mark your calendars. If you're on YouTube, just go ahead and click subscribe and then notifications. And that way you'll just remember, and you won't have to worry about me pinging you, although I will email and browser notify everybody and in the groups. And, I like to market the things. So Knowledge Seeker says your sessions are worthy. Well, thank you. Thank you. I enjoy doing these, and I think structuring them like this makes it a lot better. And, I'm still low key trying to sell you stuff. I'm not going to lie, but I think there's a lot of value here too. And I hope that everybody's finding it valuable. I know the feedback has been good. If there are things that you would like to see improved, I'm always open to non-dumb feedback too. I say non-dumb because people will be like, can you do all my cold calling for me? So that's not the kind of feedback I'm looking for. But, you know, if there's something I could have covered that I didn't or things like that, I'm always open to hear that as well. We still have about 15 minutes that I have blocked off for this. So if you have more questions, go ahead and fire away. If not, we will call it a day. I'll give it another 3 or 4 minutes and then we'll see where we are. But I think this was an important session. I know, again, it's not as exciting as prospecting and generating leads and getting sales and making money. But these are the kind of things that you will end up being thankful that you did later on when you're not just flailing around, and you'll have a much greater chance at success. And that's really my goal, is to give you all the tools that you have for success. These build an agency, scale an agency courses, I see them on Instagram ads because that's how I relax, is watching Instagram ads. But I see them on Instagram ads for $5,000 and they make you book a phone call to discuss whether you're worthy. And I hate that shit. But I figured I know all this stuff and I can give it to you for free. And I think it'll really, really benefit a lot of people. So I hope that you enjoy it. I hope you find it valuable. I hope that you'll start asking some questions, because I'm having a hard time continuing to talk without anything to respond to, but that's okay. Not a huge turnout today. I think everybody's in summer mode today, and that's okay too. But I think these are great. I think it's fun. And most importantly, I really do appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. I'm just some dude sitting in a $700 a month office with a therapist next door who I can hear her clients all day long. And the fact that you take the time to reach out, to put time, to devote the precious time that you have to me, really does mean a lot to me. So thank you for that. Jason of SGV Marketing, there's your free plug. It says very valuable. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. Jim says, got to put in those championship reps. This is where you earn the clients in the preparation and work ethic. Absolutely. Absolutely. Jim, if you don't know, is also one of the coaches in Superstar SEO Academy and co-founder and head of development on Legiit. So, yeah. Just thank him for his efforts. He's not as visible as I am, but he's just as, if not more, valuable. Keith says, hey, Chris, I just got on. I'll check back over the parts I missed. Awesome, awesome, awesome. If you want to do that, you can easily do it at superstarseo.com/blog or at the link I'm pasting in the chat/comments right now, because I am a marketer at heart. It's my favorite part of what I do, and I love to shill stuff. I don't even sell that hard. I don't even care like as much about the money. I just like the marketing. So, all right, we got about a minute or two left, and then I'm going to call it a day, I think. Jim says, shows the heart emoji, and then says heart emoji if that doesn't show up. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then we're going to call it a day in about 2 minutes. So any last minute questions? If not, we'll do this again next week. Jason, I'm just going to say it because SGV marketing is a bit of a tongueful. I think this might be off subject, but what are the 5 action items we can do for local SEO in the first 30 days? It's not exactly off topic. It's a little bit, but I actually did a live stream on that a few weeks ago too. So I'm going to send you that link, and I'm going to bring it up so I can kind of remember my own shit. Pardon my language. I don't know why I'm swearing so much today. I'm having a wicked day. Wicked in the good sense. Like Jersey Shore knockoff. So let me just bring this up real quick. This is one I did on Google Maps /local SEO back on, I have to get the, oh, there we go, June 9th. But some, there's the full presentation. You can check that out, but you want to optimize the GMB. I go into real depth on how to do that in this blueprint. You want to do some Google posts. You want to get citations. Those are kind of the main ones you can do right away. And then, of course, if you need to get it verified, then you verify it. Entity stack, and yeah. So, yeah, just rather than going through it, but those are kind of the main ones. Is you want to get the optimization is the main part, getting the NAP right, all that stuff. Start with some posts, and then get the core citations made, and then the rest of this stuff is a little more advanced. I don't want to say advanced, but it's not as important as the foundation stuff. So But yeah, this is that. And if you just check out the blog, you can see all my past live streams there. Also, if you're in the Superstar SEO Facebook group, it's superstarseo.group. And so many domains because I can never remember like URLs. Anyhow, you can see many of my past live streams are there. So this is the agency section that we're doing right now. Like literally, you can see me. You can see us right now if you were to click play there. And then just some great written content as well. How to build backlinks for e-com. And just tons of great posts. So at least I think they're great. So check that out if you have time. Let's see. Sam says, do you recommend charging a setup fee for services, then offer like fast action bonus on the call if to drop it if they sign up? Then would you not recommend that? Yeah, you can do that. You can, I mean, that's one sales approach, and we'll talk about things like that in the upcoming sales training. Yeah, that's definitely a great way to do it. And like what you can do with a setup fee too is go, this is a one-time fee, but if you did agree to work with me, then this can go towards your first month. So you'll actually end up getting a discount on your first month. It's not really a discount. That's a little bit of spin, but yeah. Yeah, that's a great sales approach. You really have a knack for that sort of thing. So thinking of that sort of thing. So try out different things and see what works. Chris says, just be curious if you're updating your blog at christianwalker.io/blog. Maybe I'll bring that up, but what I'm really doing is I have most of that stuff on the Profit Academy blog now, which I'll show you here in a second as well. Truth told, I have too many places to find my stuff because I get shiny object syndrome like everybody else. So let's do this. Yeah, this is what I think it was Chris. Yeah, Chris was asking about. I've actually moved over to site is sexy as hell in my opinion, but and then you can just go to the blog. This actually needs, there's a few of these that need to be updated as well. I'll get Georgie or Z from my team on that, but you can kind of see my entire blog there. So it's probably a better place for that. Plus, doesn't that look cool? I love that layout. He really knocked it out of the park on the design on this. At least I think he did. So I'll drop that there for you, Chris. Happy birthday, by the way, buddy. Oh yeah, that's smart. Thank you. I read that in a book, not original. I know, but you still have a knack for that sort of thing. So don't sell yourself untall. Get it? Short. As an untall person myself, I've come to call it that instead of short. All right. I'm going to make sure I didn't miss any questions anywhere else. I don't think I did, but I'm not always right. There was this one time when I thought I was wrong. Turned out that I wasn't. I was actually right, and that's the only time I've ever been wrong. All right, we may as well run out the clock. We got about 6 minutes left, and we still have, it's died off quite a bit. We still have about 20 people on, though. So we're going to start having some guests again soon, although those are going to be on alternate days. So we may end up doing 3 streams a week because on Sunday, most of the time, not always, but on Sunday, we're going to be doing legit profile reviews. So I think it was MD who was asking earlier, if you want to get your legit profile reviewed and you have less than 50 orders, show up on Sunday at, I don't know what time. It's going to be whatever's convenient for me, but we're going to do that on Sundays. I'm going to start having guests on again. I'm going to have Barry's going to be making a return. I'll probably have Jim on again at some point. Rohin's going to be back on. And I can probably get Craig Kimball on. I've been trying to get him on for a while. My good friend Andrew Johnson is going to be on, not the former president. He's dead, but this is a big agency owner out of Toronto. In fact, maybe I'll get him on soon. So I'm going to start doing those, and those will be on alternate days because I want to keep hard on this Wednesday at 3 series, but just going to keep bringing you that value as much as I despise that term because it gets abused so much. But I'm here for you. You know, I have been blessed with a very, very nice life, and it's because of the support that I continually get from you guys. So I never want to take that for granted for even a second. So you may find that cheesy or insincere, but it's not insincere. I don't know if it's cheesy or not, but it's not insincere. It's I definitely mean it. So wouldn't happen to know the name of the layout on the Profit Academy. It's a good looking blog. I don't know. I think it was mostly custom, but let's take a look. Oh, does anybody know how to change this back to do this? I did this. Jim told me how to do this once to make it look mobile, but I don't know how to change it back. Anyhow, let me see. Theme. It's Elementor and Astra, but I'll get you the web. Let me get the web designer who did it. I know exactly who that was. He's really underpriced. This is the service I used for the design on that. His name is Mohammed Galal. And he's really, really talented. I have to get on him for not having his portfolio embedded in the page, but you can see right here, he rightfully shows that he did that, but he's really, really talented. So hit him up. He's one of the many great designers we have on Legiit. Web designers, web developers. I don't know what the right term is. You're not seeing any of this, are you? Damn it. All right. Yes, this is the blog that I was just showing, how sexy I think it looks. I mean, doesn't that look cool? I love the waterfall effect. I think he really did a great job on it. And that's where you'll find my like non-SEO blogs. This is just kind of like my newsletter in blog post format. I do need to get it updated. And this is the designer who made that site. His name is G the Web Monster, which I just dropped in there. And his real name is Mohammed Galal. He's really, really talented, although I am going to have to get on him about not having it embedded there. But check him out. And it's really inexpensive. Like 10-page website for $149 is like criminal. So, Chris, when is the official freelance shop 50 Cent remix? I don't think that would be in anyone's best interest. Sam says 4 pages at $60. What a steal. Yeah, and he does great work. It's criminally underpriced in my opinion. So really, really talented designer. And he gets it done quickly too. Like that whole thing took like maybe a week, maybe less. Spent a few months, so I don't remember exactly, but yeah, it's a great deal. So we are tiptoeing up to an hour. So I'm going to give it 1 more minute for questions. And then we're going to wrap it up like a Christmas gift. I was going to say something different there, but I decided this is a family-friendly show. All right, guys. Appreciate you hanging out with me. We'll do this again next week. Replay is already going to be wherever you're watching it, Facebook, YouTube, my website. I will update the revenue calculator, and I will try to get together a list of high-end niches for you as well. I want you to have like the full toolkit of shit that you need to get this going for you. So could wrap it up like a birthday gift. Yeah, I thought about saying that too, but I would have felt like I was pandering. So, all right, guys, thanks so much. I appreciate you. Appreciate you being here with me. Like I said, it means the world to me, and I can never thank you enough. So the most important thing I want you to do is figure out what you want out of life and go out and get it, because you owe it to yourself and you owe it to the world. I'll see you next week. Take care.